Hi, welcome to this. I honestly wasn't expecting to make this video yet, but hey, here we are. I finished Fire Emblem Path of Radiance a while ago, a little bit ago, about a week ago, I guess, at the time that this video is coming out. So, here we are. I'm making a character tier list, even though there's a lot of characters in this game that I did not get to meet, and there's a lot of characters that I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with because they died too early in my run. But I still wanted to do this because I wanted to talk about this game and talk about the characters because, I enjoyed it a lot. So, we got a standard S to F tiers. We have everything's in alphabetical order. So I guess we're just gonna start with her. Uh, Aimee, I think was her name. She really was nothing. She wasn't a playable unit. She didn't contribute anything at all. She just had that little thing with Ike, I guess. But otherwise, she sold items as well, which I guess was nice. But then again, why couldn't we just have Anna be the one selling items? So yeah, she really just she goes in D tier just because she was very superfluous. She contributed nothing to anything. Anna, I wish I could put her higher than C. Why they wasted Anna in this because they had I mean, if they had Anna in this game, why couldn't they make her a shopkeeper? Maybe she was. Who knows? Maybe there was a secret Anna shop that I missed because I did something wrong or something in my playthrough. But I didn't get. The only times Anna ever popped up were in the tutorial, which I liked. But but I wish Anna could have had more to do, especially since in most Fire Emblem games, Anna is the shopkeeper. That's her thing. So why couldn't they have her be the one selling items or selling stuff? Like, yeah, they could have just had Aimee. You could have just gotten rid of Aimee and replaced her with Anna. I don't. There was no reason for her to exist. So yeah, Anna's going in C tier as much as I would like to put her higher. Ashnard was a pretty intimidating villain, but he wasn't much else aside from that. I liked how delightfully evil he was. He was just like, he wanted to take over like the he basically just wanted to put the countries at war, and he wanted to revive the Dark God. We don't really know why he wanted to do that, but I don't think that's really a problem. I liked that he was just evil for the sake of being evil. But other than that, he really didn't have much of a presence, especially since he only really showed up and talked to the main characters in the final level, and then we beat him it, in the scummiest way possible, which is my bad. But hey, the way we managed to defeat Ashnard in my playthrough was absolutely cheap, but I'm not sorry. Anyway, Ashnard's probably going in B because he was a cool presence. I just wish he could have been there more. Who the hell are you, Astrid? She died immediately after I met her, so I didn't get to see what her character was like at all. I feel like we should create a new tier though, just for like characters that I just do not remember. That's not what I wanted. Hang on, put that back to Wait, what color was that? Put that back to blue. Was it blue before? Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, I want to create this new tier for characters that I didn't get to really meet. There's the Who tier for characters that I don't know. Bastian. I like Bastian. He was funny, even though he's not going anywhere above a B because he didn't really get a lot to do. But he was funny. I liked his voice. Well, the voice I gave him. I liked his accent. I liked the way he spoke, and I built that voice around him. So yeah, no, I like Bastian's character. I like, he was pretty much just like all the other retainers of Elincia's. But he was a lot. He had more personality than the other two, I think. This guy, he was the I don't remember what his name was. He was like the ghost dude. Yeah, I mean, he was just a boss in one level, and that's it. He was one of the four writers, it seems. Which out of the four writers, uh, I feel like only two of them actually got anything in terms of proper characterization because they showed up in more than one level. So I'm gonna say he honestly goes in E tier because he just showed up in one level. We beat him. He did nothing, and I don't think he actually does get anything else in the story. Black Knight, he was cool. He was just cool. I liked Black Knight. Even though, again, I wish I could have had the final battle against him be a little more satisfying. That was my fault, obviously. But, I still really like his presence throughout the story, his character. yeah, the fact that he immediately how powerful he was. He was more intimidating than Ashnard, I think, because he went out on the field more often and actually showcased his power. So really, I feel like he definitely had a more intimidating presence than Ashnard did. So that's why he goes in A tier. Boyd, he was. I mean, I have to put him. I'm gonna put him in A tier or B. I don't know which one. I kind of don't want to put him in B though, because I do think he's better than these two characters in B tier. I like Boyd a lot. He was a useful combat unit. He was a fun character. I liked his supports with Titania, and I liked his dynamic with Ike, and pretty much I liked how he acted with all the other characters. So I'm gonna say Boyd goes in A tier because I like Boyd. He was cool. Brom, he was funny enough, I guess. I feel like he has to go in C. He was. I feel like if I had had more time with Brom, because I let him die sadly. He died in chapter 17, and yeah, it's a shame because I did like Brom, but I don't think I got to see enough of him to really put him above C tier. This Caineghis, right? King Caineghis. He was the king. He didn't really do much. He also wasn't really there a lot. Again, C tier because he wasn't bad by any means, but he just wasn't there a lot. He showed up. He was important, I guess, for that one. He told Ike about like the previous relations with Gallia and stuff. Yeah, I mean he was fine. He really wasn't anything notable though. Calill, uh, she was a useful unit for the first few chapters that I had her, but otherwise she kind of got replaced by Ilyana and Bastian as like the primary mage units. So she kind of got thrown under the bus by me. I liked her personality, I guess. She was fine. She had that whole dynamic with Largo that I didn't really get to see because Largo died too early. But I'll put her in C tier because again, she wasn't bad. She wasn't like I feel like D through F is reserved for characters that are actually just not good, or at least not very good. Characters that I either left no impression on me or just were bad. Like this guy. Who are you? You're going in D because I literally he was one of the shopkeepers, right? Or he was one of the I legitimately do not remember this guy, even though I know I met him. And this guy I also don't remember. These two, I don't remember who these two were, which is weird because they look important. I don't remember who they were though. For the life of me, I cannot remember. So I'm gonna put them both in here because I genuinely don't know. Elincia was cool, of course. She was great. She had probably the most development out of everyone in this cast, aside from maybe Ike himself. So I liked that she pretty much grew from that damsel in distress type that we met at the beginning of chapter 3, was it? And then she grew into her own and she became a fighter, and she wasn't very useful as a fighter because she was just not a great unit. But I still like that for her character. And she was a good healer too. So yeah. Elincia, and she was also the entire story pretty much revolves around Elincia. So that again, she definitely if she's not S tier, I don't think she's S tier. I feel like she could have if she had been a more useful combat unit in the actual gameplay, then I think I would have put her in S tier, but I don't think she's quite there. But I definitely really liked Elincia. Aina was okay. Again, I didn't really I feel like I could have gotten she was cool. I like that she was pretty much like somewhat on the villain side at first, but we revealed her intentions later on. I feel like she goes at B. I don't think she's a C tier character. I like her enough to put her in B tier, but I don't think she gets enough to do to reach A. But I do like her. Gatrie, I wish I could have gotten more from Gatrie. I'm not gonna put him in who because I'm gonna put him in C because again, if I had gotten more out of Gatrie, like if I had been able to get him back, because he showed up later after having left the team, and I didn't talk to him because I was an idiot, and then he didn't come back to the team. So I just, he goes in. He would have been in B tier if I had actually had more time to spend with them, but I'm putting him in C. Lethe. This might be our first S. I don't think it's S though. Is it? She was the second most valuable unit in combat out of everyone. So for that, I definitely appreciate her. And her character, I like her character a lot. I liked how she was initially like really uh closed out and untrusting of Bjork, but over the course of the story she kind of learns to trust people more. And especially with her supports with Ike, which I definitely again, this is a case of my playthrough actually improving a character because I think her supports with Ike, if I hadn't done them during my playthrough, I probably wouldn't have liked her character so much. But yeah, no, I might just put Lethe in S tier. I think she deserves it. Joffrey, I mean, he was fine. He probably goes in C tier. He was good. He was a good combat unit. I'm putting him in B tier just because he was useful in combat, more so than these other characters. Well, I mean, Gatrie would have been, but still. He was, other than that, as a character, he was just generic as hell. He really was not anything special. Uh, but yeah, I mean, he was okay. This is Giffca, right? I don't remember what he did or who he. Actually, why did I put these characters in who? Hang on, I need to put them in who. I don't remember any of these people, so yeah, sorry. Greil was pretty great. I mean, he can't go anywhere above B because he wasn't there after chapter 7, obviously he was dead. But yeah, no, I like that his death pretty much set off Ike's character arc. He was very important. And you can still kind of, even with Ike and Mist, you could pretty much still feel Grail's presence in their lives even after he died, and I like that. Greil was, yeah, and he was also just awesome for the first 7 chapters where he was alive. So yeah, no, I have to put Greil in B. I can't put him in A because just he wasn't there after chapter 7, but he was cool. Harr, I feel bad for you because you died too early because of my own stupidity. I I liked his thing with Jill. I liked his kind of his whole, I guess you could call it an arc. It's not really an arc in the same sense that Jill was. They were very much connected with their character development. But I don't think Harr is nearly as good as Jill. I'm gonna put him in C tier. Again, I think if he hadn't died way too early, he probably would have made it to B. But for the most part, I do like what they did with him in the story. Ike, best protagonist. Best protagonist. Ike is probably my favorite Fire Emblem protagonist, period. More so than Byleth and Shez, which are the only other two that I've seen so far. Because he actually Ike, even though Shez was cool, I like Shez, but like Ike really had a personal stake in the story because of Grail's death and his relationship with Elincia and stuff. Uh, so yeah, I really like Ike. I like how much he grew. I wish I could have supported that growth more in my gameplay, but hey, it's what you're gonna do. Yeah, Ike is great. He's just an awesome protagonist. And I play as him. It's funny, after playing this game, I've been playing as Ike a lot more in Smash too. Which is something that always happens to me whenever I play a game with that has one of its characters in Smash. I always end up understanding that character more or whatever and getting to play them more in Smash and getting better at them in Smash, which is really funny to me. That happened with Byleth too when I played Three Houses. Ilyana. Oh jeez. I can't put her anywhere above B. I can't. As much as I want to. I really like Ilyana, but she just got nothing. The writers gave her nothing. I wish I could put her above B because unlike these other characters who probably would have been like unlike these characters in C tier who would have probably gotten a higher rank if I had had more time with them. I had plenty of time with Ilyana. She was there for most of the game. She didn't die either, so she was always there, but she just never got anything. All her supports, at least the ones that I saw with me and Mordecai, it was just her being hungry all the time, which is a unique character trait that I like, but she got nothing else. At least with other characters who really weren't. I get that she wasn't like a part of the story in the same way that people like Ike, Mist, Titania, and like Rayson and stuff were. But still, I wish she could have gotten more to do. Uh, because Jill got her little arc, and Lethe, I got to see Lethe's supports were good, and then they developed her character very well. Ilyana, I feel like the writers kind of created a liability by exaggerating Ilyana's main character trait so much of her being hungry all the time. Because in her supports, there's just nothing else there aside from her being hungry, like on her end at least. Because the other characters get plenty of the focus. Like the other characters in Ilyana's support do get stuff to do, and their personalities definitely shine in those support conversations. But Ilyana is just hungry. The writers shot themselves in the foot by exaggerating her to the point where she was impossible to write for, because there was just nothing else you could do with her. I really like Ilyana, but as much as I could, I don't want to. I want to put her above B, but I can't. I just can't. Janaff, he was again another case. He died too early. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't get to really. You know what? I'm just gonna get Ulki as well, and I'm gonna put him on the same tier because that's the same thing that happened with both of them. They both died before I could really get to know their characters well enough. Although with Ulki, in Ulki's case, I don't think it would have really changed much because he died. He was They were both introduced relatively late, and Ulki died relatively late too. Like he was within the last 3 chapters, I think Ulki died, right? Or the last 4. But still, I'm gonna put them both in C tier. Jill was cool. I like Jill a lot. She was great. Jill, I think, out of all the characters that weren't like the part of the main cast, as in like characters like Ike, Soren, Mist, Titania, and uh and Racing, stuff like that. Characters that weren't in Elincia, characters that weren't super involved in the story. I think Jill was the best of those characters because she got growth. Like she actually got development. She had the whole thing with learning to respect Lagos and learning to stop being racist. Basically, that was her character arc, and I liked it. I liked the way they handled her. I think Jill is a very good character. I really like her. She was great. This was another one of the shopkeeper people, right? Yeah, no, he was just nothing. I feel nothing. Kiran. Oh, Kiran, how do I even begin? I mean, he was fine as a character. I liked his person. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna put him in B tier because I liked him more than these guys, and he was more useful in combat than these guys for the most part. But he was so like I liked his character. He was fine. He was pretty much just Ferdinand von Ayer. I think if I had gotten to know him more, I probably would have liked him more. But as a combat unit, he was so unreliable and unpredictable for the most part. Because sometimes you never knew when Kiran was gonna be able to like destroy the enemies or when he was gonna get destroyed. He was very unpredictable, and that made using him in combat a bit of a chore. But otherwise, I mean, same. I could say the same about Ilyana because she only really got more powerful near the end. But at least Ilyana was consistent in her being really weak. Kiran was just kind of I was afraid to play as Kiran a lot of the time because I never knew if he was going to be able to do anything. But yeah, I mean, I still like him in B tier. I think is a good place for him. Kurthnaga, he was there for like one scene. He was there for one scene. I liked him enough, but he really was like. Honestly, I feel like Aimee had more to do than him. To be completely honest, I feel like I have to put him in D. As much as I like him probably more than these characters, I feel like it's only fair. Also, I can't help but notice that he has this. Like, he's a Dragon Lagos, right? And he has this symbol on his head. Soren also has. Like, all the Lagos have symbols on their head, right? Because that's just the thing. All the Lagos have these little tattoos and stuff. Why does Soren have one? I feel like there's a lot about Soren we don't know, but I'm gonna get to that later. Now, Largo. Largo had like the most unflattering time on my playthrough out of anyone. Cause like he was there, he got there in like he survived one chapter. He only managed to make it one chapter before dying, and then he had the support with Mia, which was just him being sexist as hell. And then he died in the next chapter. Like Largo really did not get anything. Like the game didn't do him any favors. At least my playthrough didn't do him any favors. he wasn't even that good in combat. I can't say anything really positive about Largo. I think if I had gotten more time with him, if he hadn't died, then maybe I would have gotten more out of him, but who knows? Leanne. I mean, Leanne was fine, I guess, but I have to put her in C tier. Leanne was fine. I feel like she was just a plot device, though. She didn't get, again, it doesn't help that she didn't speak English or whatever language this supposedly. You couldn't understand what the hell she was saying half the time. Or not half the time, none of the time, any of the time. You never, you had no idea what she was saying. So she really didn't get a personality of her own, even though, like, she was, I suppose, characterized, because we had Raisin translating for her sometimes, and she was, like, kind and, like, generic, basically. Because I feel like a lot of the time she was just kidnapped or, like, or being used by the bad guys for something. Like, she was a plot device. Leanne was a plot device. She really didn't get any of her own personality, I don't think. I don't like that. I'm honestly kind of want to put her in D. All right. Oh, who the hell is this? Is one of the priests, right? From that, this is the priest that we saved or something before, I guess. Yeah, he was nothing. Lucia, she died too early again. I'm starting to think I did a very poor job of keeping my units alive. Again, I mean, she was probably better than Joffrey in terms of personality, but she didn't. She died too early. She wasn't very good in combat, or at least not as much as the other two were. So yeah, oops, I'm sorry. I feel bad for Lucy. I feel like I wish I could have done more with her. This guy, who is this? I have no idea. I legitimately do not know who this is. I never. Oh wait, I do remember meeting somebody. I think maybe. I don't know. All right, Mia. I don't think she can go in S tier. Can she? Can she? I don't know. I really like Mia's character. I thought she was funny. I thought her personality was really cool. She was very good in combat. But otherwise, I mean, she didn't get as much. She didn't get the development that Jill got. She didn't get like. She can't go in S tier. I don't think she didn't get the same development that Lethe got. She's definitely above these guys though, all of them. So I'm gonna put her in A tier. I like Mia. Mist. I mean, I feel like she has to. I've got to put her in S tier. She was just great, even though she probably she got development. She really it wasn't really an arc. Like I feel like Mist and Ike are kind of a duo in this case. They both grew and they both became better. Mist was very much involved in the story, a lot more than the other characters below her were. So I definitely think because of that she deserves to go in S. I feel like generally if it hadn't been for that, I probably would have put her in A, like Mia. But the fact that she had such plot relevance, I think, definitely makes her S tier worthy. Mordecai, I miss Mordecai. I feel bad. I let him die. I failed Mordecai. He was great. He was just nice, gentle giant. Like, he was great. He definitely goes in A tier. I really liked his support with Ilyana, with him, like, protecting her. And, again, like I said, Ilyana's supports benefited the other characters much more than they did her. I really like Mordecai. I thought he was just nice. I feel like I can't really say much else. He didn't get much growth, but otherwise, he was he was really good in combat. He was a really valuable unit, and losing him was definitely a big loss. But yeah, he goes in A tier. Muarim, he was basically just. I mean, I don't like saying this, but he was basically just lesser Mordecai, wasn't he? Because as a unit in combat, he was just lesser Mordecai. I feel like I'm gonna put him in B tier because he was a good unit in combat, but as a character, he just did not get nearly as much. He had, I mean, he had that relation with Tormid, who also doesn't get much to do. Both of them are just kind of eh. But at least Mordecai has Morim has the advantage of having more, like, being more powerful, and I'm actually using him in combat. This is the guy, the blacksmith dude, right? He was not a character. I'm honestly gonna put him in who, because he had no personality. At least these guys had stuff that they did, I guess, sometimes. They talked to you sometimes. These two had the whole chess game thing going, which I liked. This guy just had no personality. He was nothing. Naesala! He was cool. I like Naesala. I don't think I can put him anywhere above B, though. Maybe. who knows? I mean, I like Naesala. I like his story. I liked that he was seemingly like an antagonist at first, but he kind of he turned better. He got better. I feel like I can't put him in A though, because he was again he wasn't really a playable unit. He was more of an antagonistic character, which I liked, but he didn't have that same presence that the Black Knight did. He was definitely better than Ashnard, I think. Honestly, the more I'm talking, the more I'm thinking about moving Ashnard down a tier because I like all these characters more than him. I honestly kind of think I want to move Ashnard down here. But yeah, no, I mean I like Naesala. He was fine. He was pretty good, but I don't think he's A worthy. He had, I guess, growth. I mean, it wasn't really growth. It was just kind of a thing. Like he was planning this all along or whatever. He saved Leanne, which was cool, but yeah, he really wasn't much. Nasir, he defeated the Black Knight in my playthrough because I couldn't. So I kind of feel bad for letting that happen. But hey, I mean, he was okay. Again, I wish I had saved Nasir because I probably would have liked him more, but he's going to see as is because he didn't get anything really to do aside from let us. He helped us out, he helped us leave, um, on the boat, but otherwise, yeah, he really just wasn't a lot. He didn't do much. Which again, he would have probably. I probably would have liked his character more if I had saved him. If I had played my cards right, and actually been able to save him and get him on our side again. I liked his whole thing with Aina, and the reveal that he was apparently much older than he looks. He was Aina's grandfather. Damn. But yeah, no, he was fine. And here we have Nefini, who was nothing. I feel like, again, she was a playable unit that I used sometimes. She really didn't get anything to do at all. She didn't even I can't even get a read on what her personality was. I have no idea. She was like energetic or something. I don't remember anything about her, but I do remember her enough at least to not put her in the who category. Petrine was the other one of the four writers that actually did stuff. I liked Petrine. She was just a fun character. She was a fun antagonist, sort of as a right hand to Ashnard. I can't put her in A, I don't think. But I like her. I thought she was cool. I liked her boss battle, even though she killed Mordecai, which I will never forgive her for. But no, she was fine. I like Petrine. Ranulph was. I really don't know what to say about Ranulph. He was okay. I guess I'm gonna put him in B tier because he had plot relevance. He was a good unit in combat, but his personality, he didn't get any supports, which I think is what I never got any of his supports, which I think is what really made it so he was just like if I had gotten some supports between Ranulph and anyone else, I probably would have liked him more because I wanted to see more of his personality, but yeah, as it stands, he's B. He's fine. He's good. Rayson, he was great. Rayson was great. He had that growth. He had that whole arc with him pretty much learning the truth about what really happened, and him and Sanaki. That apology scene was really good. I thought again, Rayson's character was great. I think he might just go in S tier because he was very important to the story. He had a lot more to do than other characters. Yeah, and he was good in combat because he had that whole chant ability that let other people move. Even though he died, which again, oops. But even after he died, he was still there because he was one of the really important characters to the story who couldn't actually die. So yeah, no, I really like Rayson. I think he definitely deserves the S tier. Rise, Rise, Rise. Died in episode 3. Poor Rise. He got nothing because he died too early. I'm sorry, that's my bad, but I can't put him anywhere above C. I don't want to put him in D because I did like him enough. But yeah, no, he died way too early. I can't really do it. I can't put him anywhere above C. If I had gotten more from him, if I had gotten to have him on my team more, then yeah, sure, he probably would have been able to get to at least B tier, but nope, as it stands, I'm sorry. Rolf, I mean, he was just a kid. He was just the child. He really was not. I'm, he goes and see again. He's not D tier. Again, I've seen people. I've heard about how much Rolf grows if you actually like use him, but I never did because he was just unreliable. He wasn't exactly powerful or anything. If I had used him, if I had started using him more early on, then he probably would have gotten better if I had been able to train him better. But no, as a, she's basically just the child. Speaking of child, Sanaki. I like Sanaki. I like her apology scene. I thought, even though she had all those pretty much filler missions, which he sent us on, which were basically just filler. I feel like this game had filler during the whole portion where we were doing missions for Sanaki, but it's still, her character was okay. I thought, again, that scene with Rayson was really good. But otherwise, I feel like she kind of just disappeared after that. Like, we mentioned her, but after the apology scene with Rayson, she never shows up again. Aside from, like, we don't really see her again after we leave. Uh, so, like, I feel like she could have gone more. I'm gonna put her in C again. Because B, because she had that scene, that part, which was really good. Unlike these other characters. But otherwise, I don't think she really did much. Who's this guy? I don't remember. He was a boss character, right? Wasn't he just a generic boss? He was. Shinon. What do I say about Shinon? Again, I wish I could have gotten him back. I wish I could have gotten him on the team. I probably would have liked him more. I really liked Shinon at the start when he was on the team at first. I have to put him in C. I can't, because I had to kill him off. If I had known how to get Shinon on my team beforehand and actually gotten him back, then that would have been a lot better. I definitely did like Shinon at the start, but he just, he left the team and then he showed up in one mission and then I killed him. And so he never got to come back to the team. So that was his character, I guess, by the end of my playthrough. So I'm just gonna leave him there. Sigrun, well, yeah, I mean, she was there. I think she's definitely the most. Um, I have the least strong opinions about her out of everyone in this cast. Like, she was there, and that's it. Honestly, though, I mean, I still think she was better than these characters. Yeah, like Sigrun was really just nothing. I don't even remember if that's her name. Is that how you pronounce her name? She was Sanaki's, I guess, guard. And, I guess she had an interesting personality, but she really was not. She didn't do anything. Soren, he was great, but I feel like there's a lot about him we don't know. Like, I feel like, again, maybe this is just a case of my playthrough, because maybe other people who played this game got more out of Soren, and they got to see Soren's, like, backstory more. I didn't see any of Soren's supports with anyone, so that's something. But yeah, I mean, as it stands, I think Soren's definitely a B tier character. He was kind of a douche, which I liked. I liked his personality. I liked how blunt he was about everything. But I feel like we didn't get to really he didn't get as much development as any of the other super important characters to the story. So I really just can't say. I mean, whatever. Soren was just he was great as a character. I liked his personality. He was good in combat until he died early on. But yeah, no, he just I feel like there could have been more. They could have done more with Soren. So I'm putting him in B tier. Soth was there he was a terrible combat unit. He was weak as hell, and he was more of a burden than anything. Luckily, I never actually had to use him in battle. I'm gonna put him in D. He definitely deserves to be in D. Same tier as Nephany, because they were basically in the same league. Who? Actually, who is this guy? I don't remember. Tanith. Tanith was very useful in combat. Her character was nothing though. Tanith really didn't have much of a character, but I think her use as a unit in combat and her ability, her reinforcement ability, definitely outweighs the bad, because really Tanith's personality was just like generic. commander type, and she really, again, maybe her supports with people made her better, but who knows? I haven't seen those. So yeah, I I mean, I liked Tanith as a unit in combat. She didn't leave any impression on me as a character, but I'm still putting her in B tier because yeah, she was very strong. I don't remember who this guy is. I don't remember who this guy is. I can't for the life of me remember this guy. I don't know who this is. T-Barn. T-Barn was pretty cool. Uh, he was he was like basically like Racing. I liked his dynamic with the other three, even though they died way too early, so he didn't really get much. And I liked his relation to the other bird tribes with Naesala and Racing. And he was very powerful in combat as well. He was very useful. I honestly think he might go in A. I honestly really liked T-Barn. He was just cool. And he had the whole Richter Belmont thing going from it. Like, I don't really know how to say it, but like he had that. The personality I feel like is pretty similar. Even though I haven't really played Castlevania much, but you know. And then he was just a powerful combat unit. He was very powerful. He was very strong. So yeah, I'm putting him in A because he had that story relevance and he was powerful in combat. Speaking of which, I feel like under any other circumstances, Titania would have gotten A or even B. But given how useful she was in combat and how she carried me through this game, I feel like she has to go in S. Titania carried this entire game for me, so I can't put her anywhere below S. I feel like she has to go in here. As a character, I liked her. I liked her, like her whole experienced knight thing. She was basically a bit of a mentor to Ike in Greil's absence, which I liked. And I mean, I liked her supports with Boyd and Ike. And I thought she was just a cool character overall. But her combat prowess and her basically carrying me throughout this entire game definitely bumps her up to S tier. I think she deserves it. She absolutely deserves to be an S. Tormund. He was nothing. Again, another one of these guys. He had an interesting thing with him like trying to free the slaves alongside Muarim and stuff, but we never again, if I had trained him more, then maybe I could have gotten more out of him. But no, overall Tormund was just nothing. Volk. Volk was his name? Yeah, Volk. Somehow I forgot his name. He was fine. He had really the only thing Volk had of importance was him revealing Grail's backstory to Ike. But otherwise, he was not useful in combat. I liked his personality, I guess, but he really can't go anywhere above C, I don't think. Who was this guy? I mean, I know who this is, but I don't remember his name. He was like the commander guy that came in with the reinforcements. He was fine. Again, he was really. I mean, I have to put him here. He was worse than these guys because he was. At least I remember these people's names. E is the category for characters whose names I just cannot remember. Bryce. Anyway, this is a character that I never met. Her name is Marcia. I remember her from a episode. She was like in chapter 2 or something with the pirate level. But I don't remember. I mean, I never got to talk with her. I never got her on my team, so, you know, I don't remember her. This was, what is his name? I don't remember his name, but I do remember his personality, so he at least goes above these guys. I remember his, like, he had the dynamic with Naesala, because he was basically the old guy. I feel like he goes in C. Again, he was not really much, aside from, like, a comic relief old man trope. Because, I mean, I liked his dynamic with Naesala, but otherwise, it really wasn't much. He didn't do anything. Oliver! He was just an annoyance. Oliver was so annoying to deal with. He was, I mean, you know, I initially liked his whole thing of being, like, a corrupt, slave-owning politician, working under the Apostle without her knowing, like, really what his true colors were. But after that chapter, the chapter where you have to defeat him was the most annoying thing because why does he get the only chapter in the game that's split into 4 parts? Because he kept running away. He was annoying. He got on my nerves so much during that whole thing. I don't like Oliver. He was just terrible. Oscar. Again, he's another case of a character that died too early. I liked Oscar. I thought he was a good combat unit, and I thought his character was okay. I liked that he was basically the older brother to Boyd and Rolf. But he died too early. He didn't get anything. So again, he has to go and see. Sephiroth. Something tells me he's gonna be more important next time. Because he had that whole speech at the end of the game about how things aren't so peaceful yet, and Radiant Dawn is probably gonna have more for his character, but for now, he showed up once, he helped us out, I guess, but then he just left for the entire game and then showed up at the end. So really, he didn't do anything. Who the hell is this guy? I have no idea who this is. Genuinely. I don't know who this is. I don't remember where he even was. I don't think I ever even met this guy. So yeah, that's my tier list. Surprisingly a lot more C's and D's than I was expecting. But hey, you know, it is what it is. I feel like if I had had a perfect playthrough where I got to see every character shine, then a lot of these C's probably would have gotten bumped up to B tier. But otherwise, this is my tier list. And that's my video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope Radiant Dawn does more for some of the characters that are lower down on the list. So yeah, eventually, I don't know when I don't know when I'm gonna be playing Radiant Dawn. Probably not for a while, but hey, I'll be ready. I'll see you guys next time for more Mario RPG, I suppose. Bye bye.